Presented by SFR, Montpellier, Mediterranean Metropole, an honor for the brave. I'm Ryan Meyer, and thanks for joining us here for the Flatland semifinals, the UCI Freestyle Flatland semifinals. And I have a very special expert guest. It's his first time here in France. It's his first time out to the FIS Montpellier. Thank you very much for joining me, Claude Hickman.
Thanks, Ryan. Montpellier is beautiful. I'm loving France, and we're getting ready to watch the semifinal, just like he said. BMX Flatland is so unique. It looks like breakdancing on a bike. If you've ever done a wheelie, you've done some Flatland, but not like these guys. They're going to have a 3-minute run to show you all that they can do on the Flatland course, and we have 3 incredible judges that will be judging based on originality, difficulty, and did they execute the trick? Did they get into the trick or combination of tricks and back out without touching the ground? Our judges are Alexei Deselnu, Frank Lucas, and Marty Kopa.
And you see them on screen right there. It's a world-class amount of UCI judges. You have as well our judging system, actually, which Raw Motion compiles judging application into some iPads so that we actually get live scoring on screen. There is going to be a 4-minute break in between, but we are here, like we said, for the second stop of its 5 series tour in Montpellier, France. First stop was Hiroshima. Let's take a look at the FIS World Series map and see where else we're going to end up in the world. We are lucky enough to start it off in Hiroshima, Japan for the first time ever. It was my first time to Japan. I've been waiting for a moment to go, and if you're a sports enthusiast, make sure you guys mark that one on your calendar for 2019. Of course, it's the 22nd year we have been in Montpellier, France, and I'm so happy that the sun is blistering behind me. But we are going to go over the Atlantic to Edmonton, Canada, July 13th to 15th. That's going to be the next stop on the tour. Then followed by our second edition in Budapest, Hungary, September 7th to 9th. Moving over for our final stop of the tour, Chengdu, China, is going to be November 2nd to 4th. That's where we finish it off usually, and it's going to be a big one. So make sure you guys mark those on your agenda. If you're not able to make it out there live and join us, then make sure you join us on social media. You can follow us on all the respective handles. We'll put those on screen momentarily, but we have all the content going on. There you see the social media box in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Follow us on Facebook, FIS.official. On Twitter and Instagram, it's @FISWorld. Make sure you hashtag your posts FIS World Series as well. For this one in particular, FIS Montpellier, so you stay involved with all the action. As well, you can find us on YouTube. That's a channel that you want to watch all our extra video content. You just go to YouTube, type in FIS, that's F-I-S-E, and you get all the interactive content that you may not see on the live stream and you may not see online. So make sure you guys check it out there. This is a World Series as well. Go to FISWorldSeries.com. You can follow all the highlight reel, but it's all about Flatland right now. We have our 3 panel of judges right there. Walk me through
these
who these
judges
boys
are incredible. Yeah, I've judged at this level before, and it's not easy. And you're looking at 75 years of judging and riding experience in these 3 judges. Each rider is going to have a 3-minute run to show these judges what they can do. And again, they're going to be judged on whether they pulled the trick, whether the tricks are original, and how difficult tricks are that these guys are doing.
So you see there, we're breaking down a little bit of the format. 16 riders, 3 minutes runs each, score after each run, but there's a 4-minute break after 4 riders,
and it's great to have the score like that live so that the next riders can know what tricks they need to do and if they need to do bigger tricks going into the next heat.
And so that's something that we have added as well for the Flatland. We never used to have the live scoring. Right. But now, as of this year in 2018, UCI stepped in, we put a little bit of sanctioned rules in it, and we have, after each 4 riders, so basically after each heat, there's a 4-minute break for the judges to compile all their scores, make sure that it's in order. Then, like you said, the next heat, get to understand and see where we're going from there. Obviously, we have our start list here. Are there some top riders that stand out to you, Claude?
Well, we have 10 countries represented. There's 4 guys from Japan and 4 guys from France. I'm going to be watching Moto Sasaki from Japan, just watching him in the qualifiers. He's been on fire today. And, of course, Paris' own Matthias Dandois qualifying first. You're going to want to stick around and watch his run at the end of this list. But those are some of the guys that are going to bring the heat today.
You know, I was really excited to go out to Hiroshima and see the fire that those riders have under their belt. They're just training incredibly. We had a moment to talk about as well the youth culture that's coming up in there. But hey, we're about to get the contest started, and Kevin Jakob is about to get his 3 minutes on the clock.
Kevin's got this incredible rolling jump style where he does these jump blast tricks over the frame just like that, pulling a great first combo for us.
So as you mentioned a combo, what does that necessarily mean for Flatland?
The more tricks that a rider can link together without touching the ground and without getting back to the pedals, it's considered a combo. And the more tricks in a combo, the harder and the higher score the rider's going to get.
We notice sometimes as we get deeper and deeper down the pack to the more advanced, the top competitors who have a lot of longer combinations. But if they're not able to get that link at the very end and they fall off, does that mean that the trick is completely null?
You know, the UCI wrote new rules for this year, and usually they score partial credit, and even if they touch at the very end for tricks pulled in between. Yep. But still, to the riders, if you touch at the end, it still doesn't count. For the hardcore guys, they would never put that in the video, and they would never own that. These guys want to get into and out of the trick without touching the floor, so you're going to want to watch your feet. If you're new to Flatland, and watch what they can do. But Kevin, man, I'm so glad to see him in the finals. I think he qualified last year here in Montpellier as well. Just incredible balance to do that, rolling on the front wheel. Oh, man. Case needs to get back on that bike. Use that 1 minute, 30 seconds he has left. Watch how he jumps over the frame just like that. He's trying to land that. That's called a whiplash. There, he's almost got it. 1 minute left for Kevin. Wow, balancing on the frame. Switching into this is called a steamroller. He's going to pump it for more speed. Pulling it clean. You can see the Montpellier crowd coming out to support their French riders.
Yeah, we actually had such a large qualification yesterday that we had to split up the field. There was a massive audience. I mean, when the sun gets blistering out here in the south of France, you really get the action going later into the afternoon. And right now for the semifinals, we have just broken the noon lunch hour barrier, but the crowd is out in dwarms so far for this semi-final.
He's really trying to get that combo. Now, sometimes that can hurt you to continue to try the same trick over and over. But if it's a trick you really want to pull, they'll try it again. That's going to be time for Kevin Jakob. What an honor to get to make it to these semifinals.
We had talked as well about this, the crowd in Montpellier. It's just, for absolutely every discipline, everyone says the same thing. There's nothing like it. Nothing is like FWS in Montpellier. So if you guys are just tuning in, you don't know really where we're at. This is the largest running, biggest action sports festival in the world. Globally, there is nothing that touches this. Over 115,000 spectators each day in a 6-day festival. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And it's so cool to have the Flatland athletes come out here, and they thrive off the energy as well. The crowd, our on-site MCs do a very good job of hyping them up. But it's really something I feel that builds the contest, and it has great energy for the athletes.
You know, so much of contest riding is really mental. And when you get a crowd like this behind you, it can change what guys do in their run. The crowd starts cheering. They start going for bigger stuff. So, yeah, man, it's so exciting to be here in Montpellier. You can look at that crowd all around the stage. This is Masato Ito. He has this incredible style jumping over the top of the bike. It's called a decade. And you're going to want to watch how vertical he gets in this position. You'll think that he's going to go over the top, but he lands it somehow.
I really like that we brought a bunch of our Japanese athletes out here for the contest, but as well that they made it into the finals. We have a large presence of that.
They're incredible. Masato also sports one of the best mustaches in Japan. I don't know.
He has
if
a
you can
very
see
good
that
wax
live.
twirl on that. I used to have a good twirl like that going for a long time.
He rocks it. Yeah,
It's hard to keep up.
Japan is just on another level when it comes to flatland. Wait till you see this guy, Masato. Starting off on the back wheel. Watch this switch right here. Now he's going to come into one of these decades right there. Looks like that. Straight to the back pegs. Good, clean first link for Masato Ito.
2 minutes and 38 seconds left for you. It's probably the best way to start your run.
Yeah, backwards manual. Watch him from the pedals. Decades straight back to the pedals.
Very clean finishes to those links.
You know, and these guys are some of the nicest guys. All the riders from Japan, big smiles on their face.
It's a beautiful culture, and as well, it seems like for most other Western cultures that the freestyle disciplines seem to be so large within those countries, but we go to Japan and BMX Flatland is on another level. It is taken so seriously over there, and it's so nice that we are able to see Japanese culture as well brought here to France.
It's just that discipline and excellence that they have as a culture. And any of these guys you're going to see practices 4 to 6 hours a day to maintain this level of riding. Look at those turbine whiplashes on the front wheel. Up, lets it go a little bit. You'll notice he has no front brake.
Yes.
That's only a back brake for the decade, but everything he's doing on the front wheel is completely rolling. It's all balance.
He's getting a few little pumps there for speed.
Crowd's getting behind him. A little bit of nerves, maybe. He's got 1 minute left.
Yeah, we had mentioned actually that we split up the qualifier. There were so many athletes in qualification that we couldn't finish it yesterday in the schedule. So we split it up and had to do the rest of them this morning. And just missing a couple of links. Unfortunate for Masato.
Now, if he has time, he will pull out this move. It's a decade over the top of the bike, but he lands back into a wheelie. Let's see if he's going to go for it right here. That was it.
Just missing a wheelie, but still getting it. We kind of have that as like a contest make for some of the other ones, but I don't know how you guys are in Flatland. Wow, beautiful link there. As he went can kind of over the bike and then back into another decade.
20 seconds left. Last chance for you.
He wants this link right here.
Okay, 10 seconds left.
Let's see if he can get a decade out at the end. He does. What a great way to end a run for Masato Ito coming out of Osaka, Japan. So happy for him. Listen to that crowd. Yeah, this is the trick I'm talking about, Ryan. Decade over the top, right to the back pegs. So difficult. And then pedals straight to pedals, also super difficult. And the judges are going to know that when they score the level of what these guys are doing. There's that backside decade. Now, he has a back brake. He's probably one of the few. There's one other rider that will have a back brake, and that's something else to notice as far as difficulty, whether these guys are riding with brakes or no brakes at all.
You see there, our first place qualifier, Matthias Danois, right now on course here as well. He's very energetic watching all the competitors throughout the entire event. All these athletes are such good friends, traveling around the globe together and just pushing each other and the sport.
Yeah, the camaraderie is awesome. They come out, they cheer for each other, welcome each other to their countries. Basically, these guys get to travel around the world, competing and just having fun. We got another Japanese rider coming up next. Love this kid, Naoto Tomaru.
Has a very cool style as well, like not just talking on the bike, but as well off the bike.
Yeah, he's got that cool hip-hop style. Such a great dude, though. He spent a lot of time in America, actually. And
a crowd
loves
pleaser.
the crowd. Yeah.
Okay, same rules.
Naoto has some really hard tricks where he flips the bike. He'll be on the back wheel and give the bike a flip while rolling. So you're going to watch for some of those. He's been placing higher and higher the last few years in contests, though. And I'm really happy to see him get in these semifinals. Let's see if he can advance.
Wow.
Moving right into it. Oh.
There you go, back on track.
Yep.
Push. Keep the bike control, keep the speed.
Wow, as he flips the bars around there and holding only with one hand on the peg.
2 minutes and 35 seconds left for you. What happened?
Missed that little jump at the end, but that's okay. He's still got plenty of time. You know, the Japanese have really mastered some of these pumping style. Which is what I mean by pumping is they gain more speed just by how they use gravity in the bike, and you're going to watch it all day long. They can actually use their body and the bike to get more speed, just like this. Watch.
2 minutes and 7 seconds for you.
As he sets up for another little switch. And he's going to try to pull it out right there. Naoto. Good, solid start halfway through his run. Naoto actually helps do a school for children in Japan where they learn flatland at 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, it's very cool, actually. We were over there as well with Alex Jumelin, who has his own school out here in Montpellier, teaching young riders to come out and do flatland. And he said, man, this is really something that I can learn, as we had this amazing demo of these super young Groms just doing stuff that I would just wish that I could do on a flatland bike.
Yeah, that's what's awesome about these cultures is they're giving back and training another generation. These guys love this sport so much, they want to pass it on. And we'll talk about Alex later. You know, his 2 boys are even in that school learning flatland now. But Naoto has got 1 minute left to show these judges what he can do, represent Japan here. He's going to go for one of these flips right to the pedals.
Wow.
I saw him pull that earlier.
Transition, yeah. That I haven't seen anyone do in contests out here at the feeds. That was very cool.
That will be big points for him.
Oh, I love how he flips around that transition there. Oh, and the bar so close to the ground as he spins.
Yep. Wow. He has to cross his foot behind his leg to get that decade jump. But look at that Montpellier crowd. That is incredible. They love BMX Flatland.
Because as well mentioning, he doesn't have brakes going for the decade there.
What?
Nice
Little
whopper.
hop whip at the end. 3 minutes is a long time to ride flatland.
It's a very long
and when your nerves are going and when you're trying to hit tricks, you know, man, you got to have the stamina. Okay, we're going to watch this little flip that he does right into this and then pumps it for speed. Here's his signature spin on the back wheel. Yep, jumped all the way across to the other peg. He had some really good moves in there. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to move him on to the finals, but he's got a lot of people behind him. But we'll see this other flip that he does back to the pedals. That might just be a difference maker for him. We got a French rider coming up next.
Raphael Chiquet right there that you saw in the screen.
Crowd favorite.
Score to beat you see on screen there is a 79.0. We're not yet through the entire heat. The one rider left in heat number 1 is going to be Raphael Chiquet from Montpellier.
You take the lead. Okay. Simple
Getting props from all the riders as we move into our fourth competitor from heat number 1. It's going to be none other than Raphael Chiquet. As the crowd gets on their feet.
So much style.
That's as well such a nice thing I feel in Flatland is that everyone seems to sometimes utilize, previous tricks, but then puts their own twist on it and really creates that freestyle aspect of it.
Raphael has this back wheel like on lock.
Yeah.
You're going to watch these tricks that he does, and some of them might look the same if you don't understand how he's switching his feet and his hands. But the pivot that he does on that foot, on that peg, watch as he just goes around the bike, swings it around his back. Most of these are real original tricks that only Raphael does.
And those are, of course, what score you higher points.
Yeah,
have your originality put in.
The originality is so important, especially at this level. Most of these guys can do a lot of tricks, but they choose to do their tricks that are original to them, tricks that fit their style, and that's Raphael all the way. Now he's trying to get this thing behind the back, pulls it out. As long as he doesn't touch the ground, it counts, so he can make some little hops there, that's fine.
It's okay, crowd getting behind him. That's the thing that helps out here in Montpellier. Wow,
I think
such slow rotation at the start there. Really concentrated control.
Yep. Oh, just slipped off the peg. He's got a minute and a half left. He's going for this trick again. Like I said, sometimes when these guys try the same trick over and over, it might have counted against him, but he got it this time, almost back to the other side, just missed the grip. 50 seconds left.
So going for that link and just not quite getting it at the end either.
Here we go. He's going to try it one more time. Switching feet. Oh, just missing the other peg. Got 30 seconds left. He really wants to get this combo. Sometimes it just becomes personal as you're out there and you know you can do it. Mentally, he wants to step off the stage knowing that he hit this. He's got 15 seconds left. And that's going to be time. Raphael, that's our first heat.
Okay, 4 minutes break.
You want me to There's that pivot.
So there's that pivot.
Raphael's waiting for his score. I feel like 79 was the top spot.
En tout cas, ça fait plaisir de voir parmi nous sur cette 22e édition du FWS Montpellier. Quelle ambiance!
So just waiting for the score to come in there as we see score comes in. It's a 62.83. Unfortunately, that's going to be good enough for fourth place. So right now, Tomaru is in first with that 80.0. It's been an amazing first heat so far, but let's see the other action that we have coming up in the FWS World Series. Actually, here's
Naoto's coming in first in that first set. Naoto did really great. Some good switches on the back wheel. Coming out of Japan, 2 Japanese riders. We still have some other Japanese riders to go. Moto Sasaki coming up later. That's a pretty good first start to the semifinals. Saw some good tricks going down. Up next, we're going to have Lee Musselwhite coming out of Great Britain. There's a very original style on the front wheel.
So insane. And the second one, you go. What's up? What a move insane.
It's a beautiful action that we see coming out of the first heat here from the Japanese athletes as well. It's been an amazing one so far, but this is just heat number 1. There's still 3 more to go, so it's going to be an amazing semi-final coming up. Any highlights that you think are going to jump out, names or anything for you, Claude?
Well, we saw some great riders so far. You know, Naoto really laid down some good switches. Rafael on the back wheel, he didn't have his best run of the day, but we've got some incredible riders coming up. Vicki Gomez from Spain, Matthias Dandois from Paris, Alex Jumelin here from the Montpellier area, and so I'm excited to see those guys. I think, you know, those scores are good. They're, you know, rightly scored to where those guys did, but we have some other riders coming up that are going to be doing incredible.
Okay, and now for this time, like I said, it's a Freeze World Series stop. Let's see some of the highlights in the teaser of what's happening next on the tour.
The FIS World Series represents the premier action sports event, not only for the top-level riding, but for the top-level fans. You can look out at the thousands that come out to support all of our athletes.
This is going to be an amazing event that we have coming up for you.
It's unreal. There's no words for it. It's literally the biggest crowd in BMX, and good memories. I can't believe this is happening right now, and I really need to wake up if this is a dream.
Oh yeah, it's the most insane feeling ever. I can't believe it. Means you blow my mind again. Oh my goodness.
Man, the tears pulling it off, the crowd going nuts here in Edmonton. Woo!
Hey guys, go check that out. We have a 5-stop world tour. Not many other areas you can look at that have a global event going on in this capacity. The FIS is doing such a good job to promote action sports, not just on a professional level, but as well amateur. This is the only professional event of its caliber in the world that has open amateur categories. That means if you guys are watching at home and you're thinking, hey man, I think I can compete with the likes of Alex Jumelin and the Japanese crew, you say, okay, yeah, I want to test my luck at the next FIS, but I'm in Canada. How am I going to do that? Well, we have a stop in Edmonton. Make sure you go over to Edmonton, register your name, and you're able to go into the amateur category, work yourself into the qualifications. If you have what it takes, you will be rewarded. And maybe you're going to make it to the semifinals. Maybe you're going to make it to the finals. And that's the fun thing about the FIS. We always have a new name year after year. We are pushing it.
All right, Lee Musselwhite is getting ready to ride. He has 2 Guinness World Records in such a really cool style. Most of these tricks you're going to see he invented. This is, I forgot what he calls this glide. It's not the spider glide, but it's something else. All these very original tricks. He just kind of came up with his own style. It took a year off of riding about 5 or 6 years ago. Kind of just got burnt out on what everybody else was doing. And when he came back, like I said, he reinvented himself into all these moves. Just like that right there. Boomerang. It's a little spinning half-packer. Now he'll ride out of it. Boom, back onto the pedals just like he wants. A couple of good first tricks for Lee Musselwhite.
2 minutes and 10 seconds left for you. Ça enjambe le guidon. Here we go.
Yep. Starting off in the front wheel.
You're on a good way. You're on a good way.
Wow. Such different connections as he has to pull himself back to the bike.
He's a tall guy, too. If you've
Yeah,
ever been
you can
next
see
to
that.
him, yeah, he's got to be 6'3", 6'4".
And I have no idea how that feels, but
All right, watch this. I've seen him do this. Backwards boomerang, facing backwards. So he's going to try to go all the way around the front, back to the pedals. No brakes. So this is super hard. Pulls it clean. Lee Musselwhite.
and you see the rolling speed that he had there was very, very little. That adds a lot, actually, to the difficulty, I feel.
With no brakes, you just have to be right on top of that balance point. That's a hard trick doing facing forward, let alone facing backwards. All right, here he goes again into this no-footed glide. Spins right back into that half-packer. Nobody else out here is doing tricks like Lee. That's what makes this so incredible. And he's having a great run. His qualifier run wasn't even this good, so this is going to be good for him.
Wow,
I think it's going to show on the score.
So that's as you see, I mean, I believe he qualified 5th from the bottom.
Yep.
Great. Getting a lot of links in the bag.
Yep.
How is that going to affect his score differently from someone who's doing long links?
Well, some of the tricks that he's doing are not as difficult as the other riders, but he's pulling them clean. And sometimes that's what matters. Little spinning snake spin right there. So difficulty also comes into it. When you see a guy have a really clean run, he may not touch. It might be because he's doing tricks that aren't as difficult. I don't want to say that his tricks aren't difficult, though, because some of them he's the only one in the world that can do them.
10 seconds. 9.
This is well why I feel it would be such a difficult part to be a judge in this, because it's, well, if somebody is inventing tricks, it just increases that. But this sport has been going on the longest in BMX.
Finishing out strong with this death truck glide. That's a good run for Lee, man. I'm so happy for him. He doesn't show up at all the contests, but I'm so glad he's here at Montpellier at the feast. This crowd must have brought him out. His wife Amy is here. I know she's probably happy for him. He has a little girl, a couple years old, so they're on a nice little holiday. There's that trick where he goes right into that spinning half-packer, and here's that backwards boomerang again. Wow, back wheel comes off the ground. He still pulls it clean. Really happy for Lee in that run.
And like you said, it was already better than his qualification run and still kept linking up tricks.
It's hard to go early in the heats, you know, and early in the list because you don't know how everybody else is going to do. But when you pull most of your tricks, that can put the pressure on other guys. We're waiting for his score to come in. He may take the top spot with that. I believe he probably will. The judges take a few minutes to score because sometimes they need to talk about it. You know, it's very important in this stage in the semifinal to get the right scores because you have so many guys coming afterward. If you don't leave enough room, sometimes it can really kind of bind you.
And there you go. You are right. We have a new leader, 82.5. Lee Musselwhite moves up into first place, takes that hot seat position away from Naoto, who had the 80. So 2 riders right now in the 80s. Heat number 2 underway, and we are going to be moving into Tyler Gilliard.
USA coming out of Orlando, Florida. Tyler Gillard, I'm so happy to see him in the semifinal too. He's been competing a lot more internationally this last 2 years. His girlfriend Autumn is here with her, and she's riding in the girl class later on this weekend. But Tyler's an incredibly rad rider. He's got some strong jumping moves. Wait till you see some of these tricks where he just jumps straight into a steamroller. Sometimes nerves get the best of him, so we're going to see how he does in this semifinal. Starting off with a nice half-cab hop whip. Oh no, was that his front? His front tire just blew out in the middle of his run. No way. I wonder what happens right now if he gets to start over. The judges are going to make a decision.
With this, we're going to have to decide. It's probably going to be UCI ruling.
Oh, no.
And with UCI ruling, I believe you have 60 seconds to fix your bike.
He can borrow a wheel, though. That won't take very long.
Exactly.
That's unfortunate for Tyler.
I see Matthias Danbois right now going to take off
Someone will let him.
Someone's going to
probably.
get a wheel. Wow,
You know-
I've never seen that happen in a flatline contest.
When these guys have different tire pressure than the park guys.
Yeah.
They air their tires up maybe 90, 100 pounds of pressure, and when it gets hot outside,
He's on a borrowed bike right now. He's borrowing.
Oh, he borrowed. That's not John Williams.
How can you? That's from our other Japanese rider. Oh, this is going to be so difficult. The bike setups are so different.
I'm not sure why he did that.
Flatland.
Wow, he still pulled that hop into the steamroller with somebody else's bike. And you hear the crowd getting behind him because they know this is not comfortable for him. Still,
wow, Tyler, this is incredible, actually. Just to switch up geometries on a normal bike, he's shaking his head. This is so difficult in the semifinals to pull off something like this, but it shows the determination and skill of Tyler right now.
I can't believe what I'm watching. He's pulling all of his tricks on someone else's bike. To try to explain how awkward that would feel is almost impossible. I'm so proud of Tyler for just going for it, man.
Wow, that is amazing.
They had a 23-hour trip to get here. I think he's just like, man, I'm not going home without doing a run. He is going for it. You hear the crowd cheering him on. He's trying not to touch the ground here.
This is absolutely insane.
That might be Kevin Jacobs' bike.
This can...
Going for this hitchhiker spin. Yeah. He looks more comfortable on Kevin Jacobs' bike than I look on my bike. Pumping it for speed. Tyler Gillard still putting together a solid run, even with the blown tires 10 seconds into his heat.
Oh, this is... And a whopper from the pegs.
And his cliffhanger spin.
How to possibly do this with all the different angles? The seat height must be different. Everything on this.
My heart just goes out to Tyler.
Incredible.
Such a great dude. You know, like I said earlier, sometimes when these guys air up their tires with 100 pounds of pressure and you get some heat, it just expands too much for the tire to be able to handle it. He blew his tire, I think it was just 15 seconds into his run. We're going to go back and see what happened. I can't imagine what's going through his head right now. Here it went. That's a good clean trick he pulled, but then on the very next trick,
we don't see it actually in the replay, but we see how amazingly comfortable he looks on a borrowed bike. Can't believe the difficulty in tricks that he has here.
I am so impressed. You know, this is why practice pays off, because these guys are so skilled. They can get on a different bike and still pull the majority of their tricks.
This one as well, I mean, where you had the pinch between the tire and the rear of the seat.
Just to have
everyone has a completely different height. Like within millimeters, you can notice the difference in bar width, difference in bar height. You have different stacks, pedals, everything, crank length.
It was Moya Alberto's bike from Madrid. So he'll ride later. He's actually riding next, but he let Tyler ride his bike anyway.
The fact that he took that as well, that's incredible.
He could have messed up Moya's bike.
Wow.
Good 64, but you know what? Tyler wins the award for sportsmanship and just, you know, finishing that run with another bike today in my list. Great job, Tyler. Now there's that bike again.
Okay, vamos, amigo.
Coming out of Madrid, Moya Alberto has a completely different style than the rest of these guys. I don't know how to explain it. Again, super original. It's going to be very slow, but he is on the balance point the entire time. He has created these tricks where he will hook his foot on a part of the bike and create some kind of gliding trick out of it. Alberto Moya, so much balance on the front wheel. Here we go. He's setting up for one of his signature moves. Looks just like this. Still going, pumping speed.
That is incredible. How much balance he has here. Only one foot on the peg. Alberto right now going for his second link, I believe. That was almost 1 minute.
Oh, no. Just lost it, but that's what I was talking about. Watch, he'll get back into this trick, and he will hook his foot.
I think we can call this one a sketchy one. Okay.
A sketchy one is what we call this one.
On time.
Starting off on the back wheel, going under the bike. He can do this on the front wheel and back wheel, pumping it with his hand. Now see him hook his foot on the top of the bike. Almost pulled it clean.
1 minute and 28 seconds left for you. Alberto Moya, avant-dernier arriveur de cette deuxième poule.
He has been showing up at a lot more contests the last couple of years, and it's so fun to watch him progress on all these original tricks. Watch how he pumps this backwards. Wow. Nobody else is doing that. Such a just technical style. 1 minute left for Alberto Moya, doing it from Madrid, Spain. Here we go. He's going back into this trick. Pulls it out. Didn't quite get exactly the roll that he wants. I think we'll see what he does next, if he goes back to it or something new for his last 40 seconds. He's watching that clock. Now, one of the things about the judging this year, Ryan, is they have to get these combinations. All the combination has to be pulled before the end of their time.
Yes.
So they can't just start a combination, seconds left, and continue it. They have to actually finish whatever tricks they're doing before those last 10 seconds run out. So you'll hear them count down the time to let the rider know he has 7 seconds left. So he has to pull it right now, and he does. He got back to the pedal.
Here's that one.
Showing some love to the crowd. It's like you said, man, these riders just love this Montpellier crowd. If you have not been to FIS World Series,
you see all there as well in the Red Bull area, right under that Red Bull tent. That is the VIP Rider Lounge, actually. So those are all other athletes, mainly family and friends as well of athletes watching the Flatland. And yesterday, during the qualification, you just saw the top professionals in all other sports who did not have an event going on were out there watching, having fun, cheering the Flatland athletes on. It's so amazing that you're able to share this experience, be able to watch all the other disciplines. This doesn't happen anywhere else except in Montpellier.
There's that foot hooked on the top of the bike. That's Alberto's signature move. We're going to see if it got him enough points to score above a 82.5. It puts him in 5th place, it looks like right now. 70.23 just came in for Alberto Moya.
There you see, yeah, that's 70.23, good enough for 5th place. But our man, Lee Musselwhite, is currently still on top there with an 82.5.
We will see if he holds that spot. Now he just has to sit back and see if that'll be enough to keep him on the podium. Now this is Toon coming out of Thailand. The riders call a nickname for him is Toon. Such a great dude, and he has again been competing more and more the last couple of years internationally. Been getting some coaching from Marty Copa. And he's just been stepping up really his originality the last few years. He's been creating some of his own tricks. You're going to see some tricks where he jumps and stands on the stem, the part that holds the handlebars. This Toon starting off strong. Going back to the front wheel, spinning, doing it for the crowd. Yep, good, clean first link for Toon. Sometimes it helps out so much mentally just to get one good link under your belt, you know, in your run. Gets rid of some of the nerves. All right, starting off backwards. Watch that backwards boomerang. Swinging it around. The balance these guys have is just incredible. Wow, pumping that with 1 foot into a steamroller. Listen to that Montpellier crowd getting loud for him. He's just got to pull it right out. He's got something. Bar spin right out. Nice. Really good run for Toon so far. Oh, coming off the bike there.
1 minute and 24 seconds left for you.
I think he wants to try this again, hopping through to this little half-packer, crack-packer. Yeah, linking those tricks together to try to get more points. He knows he's got to beat at 82.5. There it is, that boomerang on the stem. I think he even threw a handoff in the middle of it. He's got 1 minute left. Now he can do a trick that's a double stem lash.
So Toon has 45 seconds left on the clock.
Watch this on the stem. Oh, he's about to. I think he's going to go for this again, Ryan. This is the one I'm talking about. 2 rotations while standing on the stem. He sets it up with this little half link, and there he goes. 1. Oh, midway through the second. So difficult. The crowd says they want to see it again. We'll see if he does it. He's got 18 seconds to pull it off. Sets it up. Here we go. Yeah, right to the pedals. What a great way to end the run for Toon coming out of Thailand. That is going to be some good points for him. We'll see if it puts him in the top spot. He needs to beat an 82.5 to nudge out Lee Musselwhite.
Yeah, as you see there, Toon has waiting for his score. Lee Musselwhite has an 82.5. You see on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen.
That was a great run. You know, he might actually take the top spot with that run just because of the originality and the difficulty of some of those tricks. That last trick on the stem might push him over the edge. Take that top spot.
So we see some highlight looks at Toon's run right now.
Yep, he's one of these riders with no brakes on his bike at all. Just one of the things to keep in mind as you watch these riders. Look at that full bar spin out. Such a good run. We're waiting for that score to see if he took the top spot from Lee. There's that stem throwing a handoff. And at the end of his run, he got this, the double stem boomerang, swinging around not once, but twice, back to the pedal. We're waiting for that score, and I think it's about to come in.
So we have right now, the score to beat is 82.5 of Lee Musselwhite. And the score coming in, he's going to do it. Toon is your new leader with an 83.08. He's standing now on top of the hot seat. And as the last man down, that was an amazing second heat that we just saw go down right there.
Absolutely right. You know, Toon deserves that top spot right now because he brought some of his biggest tricks. They were creative, they're original to him, and he pulled that double stem boomerang when it counted in the last few seconds of his run. He deserves that top spot right now.
Yeah, some beautiful riding out there, but let's take a look back at our last stop and see some of the highlights from Hiroshima.
First time ever, we got the UCI BMX Freestyle World Cup Flatland. Hey Hiroshima, are you ready? Welcome Mr. Benetton!
What?
Moto Sasaki!
He's having a killer run right now, just pulling each and every of his combos.
Ilo Ikeda!
A Super Mario style hop over the top tube.
Wow, I've never seen that one before. Ikeda really busting out some new unique moves.
Oh!
Morisaki Iwata!
such a legend on the scene. He's always been pushing Flatland to new levels.
Look!
Going up and down with the speed that's building on the front wheel.
So we're seeing the Canadian here with a completely different style than the Japanese. Back wheel focused, I believe, in every single trick. Wow, that was a rolling into an Undertaker right there. Can he keep the link going?
What?
Oh, here we go. Ah! Yes! Nice exclamation point at the end of your run.
He's got extra blood! Here you go, Plastic Man. Yeah, boy. Alex Jumelin started very well the run. Yeah, boy, I've got nose manual. And he played the game very well. Look at that. Come on, Hiroshima! Whoa!
Yes, look at that full bar spin steamroller, hitting that one combo, going all the way.
Look how smooth. That was so fluid right there.
Oh!
Yeah! Let me hear you from Vicki Gomez!
Matthias Dondois, the last rider of the day out here. And look at that beautiful rear wheel spin right there.
Anderson right now is checking in saying, go Matthias, go. And look at that, lighten up the crowd. Big smile on his face, just feeding off the energy and feeling the Japanese love and support out there.
Look!
89, it's good enough. Matthias Dondois is going to be the champion out here in Hiroshima with a 90.33. Matthias Dondois. Hey, there you see Hervé, the founder of the FIS as well, right to his right. Elodie, the wife actually of Alex Jumelin, watching the Flatland. They're such enthusiasts of all the sports out here. And a big ups to Hervé, actually, a man who has devoted so many years of his life to pushing action sports. Let's get back to the action. It's about to start heat number 3 with a big name and a young gun himself. Benjamin Hudson is on deck right here. We talk about unique styles and a rider who has created one for himself. You will notice on his bike that he has a much lower seat than most other riders. And in that context, he has a very unique way of spinning where he, instead of grabbing the seat, he actually grabs the rear wheel. You will check it out, but this is some unique riding as well coming from the young man.
This whole heat is stacked, and I'm so excited about Benjamin from Chile. Such a just nice kid, man, and he's blown up the contest this last few years. Sometimes he rides with headphones in just to block everything out. I couldn't tell from the screen what he's got on, but I think he's going without them just so he can hear this crowd.
Yeah, a lot of the time, I feel that is exactly what they're doing, but sometimes they're talking with the DJs, Dadu, I believe, down there, and they put on the exact track that they want to listen to, and then as well, with this eruption of crowd, I would always try and pick that one. But there you go, you see that way that he grabs the rear tire. It's a very original move from Mr. Hudson.
Benjamin is so smooth. This isn't exactly the start I think he wanted, but once he gets into the flow, he can just stay on this front wheel non-stop. Guy's a good nickname, Spaghetti Legs. You watch his legs, he will cross them all around the bike. Watch this way that he steps around the frame just like that, keeps the momentum going. Then he's going to pivot on the front wheel. So smooth to keep the momentum going and hop to the pedals. It's his signature way out of the combo. Watched him all day this morning pulling all these combos. He's just getting started. So watch him cross his legs over, pump this for speed, and then he's actually going to switch from going backward to forward. So difficult. Here he goes. He wants to pull it for the crowd. Swing it around. Get that hop.
I really love the way that Benjamin stomps down on the pedals when he gets those.
Every combo, man. He loves it. It's actually really difficult to do. It doesn't look like it would be, but that hop, that's no joke. Now, bikes are engineered so much better than when I used to ride. A park rider, their bike might weigh 23, 22 pounds.
Yeah.
Benjamin's bike, it's all titanium hub, titanium axle. It's probably 17 pounds.
Wow.
One of the reasons he can hop like that and do some of these tricks is his bike is just so light. All Iggy stuff and Far East cycles. But it's just perfect for his style of floating around the front wheel. Benjamin needs to pull out some bigger tricks, though, in this last 30 seconds if he wants to get on the podium. He's got the ability to do it, but it's just not coming together for him.
And that's tough to watch as well when you know a rider has the ability to make it out there but just can't link up everything and is having some little bobbles that throw him off. But coming into a nice link right here.
This will be a good one to end on. Time machine on the back wheel, pulling it clean for the crowd. He may have time for one more little trick. Let's watch and see what he does. This spinning. Let's see if he tries it again. I don't think he will. That's going to be time for Benjamin Hudson out of Chile. Still some very difficult stuff. I have no idea how the judges are going to score that because so much of it is original to him. And some of those combos are a lot more difficult than they look. So we're going to look and see. Here's the trick that we were talking about earlier. Switch cross-legged, and so it allows him to pivot on the front wheel and go forward from this position right there. And then immediately go into the steamroller, holding the back tire. All these tricks are so unique to Benjamin. It's one of the reasons Red Bull picked him up, and he's been doing so good in contests. And there's that hop, stomp to the back wheel. Unfortunately, Benjamin didn't get all the combos I think he could do and wanted to do. He's going to have to sit back and see where he ends up with this score and hope that he makes it to the finals.
Le score à battre est de 82, je crois bien. Quel est le score de Ben Hudson?
Just waiting for the results is not fun, you know. But it's nice to have those scores, especially for the guys coming later.
Yeah, and especially, I always felt like it would be so difficult for Flatland, but Hudson coming in with a pretty respectable score there.
Yep.
Third place, 80.83.
Yeah.
Quite good, yeah.
Yeah, that might be higher than maybe what I thought, but still I'm really happy for him. I know he can do better, and I'm sure he's not real happy with his run, but he should be happy to be in third place right now. But he's got a stacked list of guys behind him, and this is one of them, Akita Takahiro. He's been doing shows for Cirque du Soleil for the last year or 2 years around the world.
I really, I want to touch again on this Japanese style. Akita Takahiro, even with his bike, it just starts off with his bike. This is so Tokyo to me. And then as well with the gloves, the golf gloves. Just such a cool style altogether and just represents so well for Japan, but watch his riding speak for himself now.
He is always a crowd favorite. He knows how to play to this crowd. Watch him look up and wave to them after every trick. And these spinning moves, they are incredibly original to him too. Some of the moves that he does, he's invented where he grabs the pedals and things like that. So watch all these spins.
Oh, I love how he switches directions there, actually.
All right, he's going to go up. Nope, he's going to go down to the pedals. Now watch this. This is one of his original tricks. He's got to pull it out for it to count. Oh, he comes off the bike because of the momentum.
Come on, carry on. Il a besoin de soutien, Montpellier.
These guys are saving nothing for the next life, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just leaving it all out there.
They're like, okay, we got to get in. It's Montpellier, let's...
Oh, watch this.
Oh,
Pops
that
all
was
the way
a cool
over
one.
the bike.
Okay, Ikeda, 1 minute and 54 seconds left for you.
Akita is just one of the most well-known riders out of Japan, just for his style, his look. Such a nice dude, always smiling, always waving to the crowd. Knows how to play to this audience, and Montpellier is loving it. Let's see if he can pull this out clean. Up on the pedal, over the bike. I haven't seen that variation before. That's new for him. Akita pulling it out. 1 minute, 20 seconds.
1 minute and 20 seconds left for you.
Like you said, not holding anything back. You haven't seen tricks like this from Akita.
Okay, stay focused. 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Now he's
left
got
for you,
one more
Akita.
trick that I haven't seen him do yet. He steps on the pedal and then he puts a foot up on the peg even. Wow.
Okay, last.
He switched feet on the pedals there. I don't know if you can notice that. Incredibly difficult. Akita wants to hear the crowd get loud for him for this last spin.
45 seconds left.
When you do longer combinations, they eat up more time, and if you don't pull them, it could really hurt you. Here we go. Let's see if he's going to do this trick.
Wow.
Going to the pedals. Yeah, there he is, cranking it. Oh, got away from him.
This is so unique. I've never seen that one before.
I think he's going to try it again. I've never seen him miss that trick. It's one of his signature moves. I think he wants to get it, but he's got to get it done within this 14 seconds, and it's not going to happen.
Just not coming together. 10 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if Ikeda has time for one more combination, one
There he
more
is.
link.
That's the trick I was talking about, up on the pegs and the pedal at the same time. Akita Takahira loving on that crowd. It's so cool to see the Japanese riders come all the way here to the feast to be a part of the Flatland World Series. He's going to go back and wait for his score. Still a lot of good banger tricks that he pulled. Looks like it's getting hot out there. Now let's talk about that trick. He's got both feet on the pedals, even though his leg is wrapped around the frame, and then he does an undertaker out. Almost doesn't pull it, but lays the bike down, gets back out of it without touching the ground. You know, at this level, these guys are so good that even when things go wrong in the middle of the trick, they can pull it off. There's that decade all the way over the top of the bike.
Like you're saying, even when things go wrong, I actually thought that something was going wrong there, and then he pulled that decade. You just don't even know at this point. But always raving to the crowd.
Yep.
A real pleaser out there for the audience in Montpellier. As he was moving down towards the one where he was pedaling with his hands.
Somewhere, maybe?
That is another signature Akita move right there. We'll see if that's enough to move him into the top three. I don't know. The score just came in, and it's not going to be enough.
71.66. It's good enough for 7th place.
So 8 people will go to finals. Right now, he'll be in the finals. I don't think he's going to stay there after these next guys.
So that means we have 4 of the top best athletes still to come.
Here's a crowd
6
favorite.
best, pardon me, Alex Jumelon, a man who has, let's say, our own FIS Guinness Book of World Records. The only athlete in the history of the FIS to compete in every single one of the editions. This started 22 years ago in Montpellier, out on the coastline, and he is still competing today. A rider who has reinvented himself year after year, and many say knows how to ride almost every style in Flatland. This is, of course, Alex Jumelon.
Yep, he moved to America about 4 or 5 years ago, and like you said, I think he got burnt out on all the steamrollers and things that everybody else was doing, and he just reinvented this style where it's really simple, the rollback, the boomerangs, the nose manuals, but then he started linking all these things together, and it really started to come together with this whole new foundation that only Alex can do. To watch his feet as he just is amazing at jamming on the front wheel, foot jam style, trick to trick, and linking them all together, keeping the momentum going. Alex Jumelon, just a crowd favorite. If BMX Flatland has a David Beckham, it's this guy, Alex Jumelon.
Definitely is.
Look at that balance. Now watch, he's getting more speed, hops with his bars backwards, keeps the speed going, and here he's going to do a little move to get out of this trick. He wants a decade. Let's see if he can do it right here. Yep. Great start for Alex. kid in the crowd going, you know, he put so much time into helping behind the scenes to this contest. I'm really happy to see him ride well. Starting off cross-footed. All these rollback tricks, hopping to the nose on the front wheel. There's that foot jam again. Another good solid link for Alex. He started his own Flatland Academy. I think we talked about it earlier, where he's now teaching a whole new generation of kids and women. You know, he's got all these classes. Even his two boys have been in his Flatland Academy. I think they're going to compete later this weekend. Nathan and Gavin, a shout out to them.
It's so cool to see the next generation definitely come around, but as well from a man who has such influence.
Yeah.
Wow, such beautiful combinations there.
He's got that new Coast Cycles frame and handlebar going, made custom for him, the Humble brand. Everything in life is really going good for Alex right now. I'm so happy to see him doing well in this run. He wants to make it into that top 8, to make it into the finals this weekend. Watch this little hop right here. I tried that and about broke my face.
And as well, you mentioning on the Academy, you can as well see over his back shoulder there, he is wearing the t-shirt from his BMX Academy. If you guys want to check that out, it's in Montpellier. Just go follow Alex Chumelon. There you go.
There's LOD, his wife, celebrating, because that will be a great score for Alex. We're going to wait for it to come in, but if I had to guess right now, that's going to put him into the top spot, maybe even into the 90s. We'll see, Ryan.
That was a phenomenal run from Alex Chumelon. I was going to say we are used to seeing Alex Chumelon compete in the last heat, but now he's in the third one. From our first event in Hiroshima, I do believe that he ended up 3rd place. So we are very used to seeing Alex on top of the box, and this was a great run from him as we watched some highlight looks at the last 3 minutes of action.
Here we're watching these rollback boomerangs, another just signature Alex move. So dialed, and here's that foot jam decade. Gets it back to the pedals, pulling it clean. And all those original tricks are going to add up, and let's see his score to beat. Yep, put him just into the 90s, 90.96. That puts Alex in the first place spot.
That's going to be a hard one to beat. When anyone gets into the 90s, that's over a 7-point lead from Toon in 2nd place right there.
I knew he would get a good score. I didn't know if it'd be that high, so that's really good for him. That's going to hold him in one of those top spots for quite a while. And it really just comes down to how these other guys ride. We've got 5 more riders. Many of them could beat that score, but it just depends on whether they get the tricks they want to get today or not. Here's one of the guys I mentioned in the intro, Ryan, coming out of Japan. This is Moto Sasaki, and if you've never seen Moto ride, it's incredible. The things that he does on the front wheel, just so dialed, doing it for Monster Energy. And watch him scrape his handlebars on the ground at some points because he just gets so torqued in these tricks. Rolling backwards for a second there. Moto keeping it going by kicking the front wheel. He's pumping for more speed. Up to the pedal, flips the bars out. Good, solid first link for Moto Sasaki. I believe Moto is one of our top-ranked UCI riders right now as well. He was been in Edmonton last year. Been entering into this BMX World Series to try to get a spot at the top of the title. Now watch these spinning tricks on the front wheel. Oh, he gets so tweaked. It just got away from him right there, but the crowd's getting behind him to get him back into this. Now, Ryan, if he gets into this trick, it's amazing because he'll step up onto the pedal while he's in this position. It's another one of those things that he invented. These riders come up with these tricks somehow in their imagination. Now watch this, on the pedal and the handlebar, pumping it Pulled it out, Moto.
Moto really has that beautiful style where he glides on the front wheel. Like you were saying, of course, before, the bar dips so close to the ground. It's incredible that he can keep the speed up while in those rotations.
Yeah, his handlebars are actually ground down at an angle. He does that trick so much. Here we go. Watch this, scraping the ground again, stepping over, foot on the handlebar, and pulling it out for the crowd. This is it's turning into a great run for Moto. Not a great start, but he's made up for it, and that's hard to do once you've missed a trick or two, to mentally get kind of back in the game and get back on your bike and make it into a good run. He really wants to make it to this finals. All right, watch this. Oh, he's trying to do this cross-footed trick. Oh, he's going to try it again. While he's spinning, he's going to cross his leg over and then switch into that trick right there. Nobody else does this trick but Moto, and somehow pulls it out with no speed left at all. And 15 seconds left.
So we just have 10 seconds left on the clock, and like you said, UCI rules means that they have to finish the tricks, and that's going to be it for Moto Sasaki.
That's a great run. You know, I'm really curious where he's going to land compared to Alex now, because his tricks are very difficult. Even though he came off the bike a few more times,
yes,
the judges know that some of those tricks, the difficulty is very high. If he does beat Alex, it may just be by a 91 or a 92. But now we just have to wait and see. Moto, watch all those pivots on the front wheel. No brakes at all balance. The way these guys use their bike back and forth, they're scraping the handlebars and crossing the leg over. Representing Japan here at the FIS Montpellier, Moto Sasaki. There's his signature trick and pulling it out clean for the crowd.
Look at how that handlebar scrapes around. You said his bar ends are ground down almost at a 45-degree angle because of that. And then you said going into that crossfoot one of the only
guy that does that. Look at that. And somehow sneaks out of it without touching the ground. Judges are going to reward that. Here we go. I think we're about to see the score for Moto, and it might just put him in the top spot.
So you see right there, Alex Jumelon with that very high score of a 90.96, over 7-point lead from our second place of Toon Pakfum. Moto Sasaki right now waiting to see where he lines up. This is going to be a hard one for the judges to compile all the scores, but we are waiting right now, anticipating, seeing if that hot seat is going to be disrupted once again and push Alex Jumelon out. And it's not going to be enough. It's going to be 83.66.
Wow.
Moto Sasaki moves into second place respectively. But they're both going to get a chance, of course, to join us in the final. But this is a heavy semi-final, I have to say.
Wow. But like you said, so much room between him and Alex still. 7 points almost. And so, you know, seeing who makes it through to the final, it's going to be really interesting that Moto scored so low.
And let's take a look back at the last two heats and see some top highlights from action that has been going down. This is from none other than Lee Musselwhite, who is taking that hot seat.
Lee Muscle. Yeah, so far we've seen some great runs. You know, Naoto, Lee. Here you're seeing some real original tricks out of Lee Musselwhite. Again, so glad to have him back in the contest scene. He's been doing shows all over the UK. Here, I don't know if that's Tyler or, yeah, there's Tyler.
On the borrowed bike, you couldn't quite notice.
Tyler did really well despite having to blow out on his front tire 15 seconds into his run.
You know, we have a special contest for the finals. It's called the SFR Rider of the Day, where all the online voters go in and tally up who they think is going to be the top rider. But man, I think we should give that one to Tyler out there. That was such an amazing feat to go out and take a borrowed bike in a sport that is so focused on the geometry of your own setup.
I can't even think of what to compare that to. That's like playing tennis with a baseball bat, you know?
Yeah, close enough.
There's Toon with his double stem lash, you know. So you're looking back, Benjamin Hudson had some decent tricks, but not the run that he really wanted. After those first couple of heats, to see Alex on top's really awesome. There's Akita doing it for the crowd.
And look at that, that's where he's pedaling. I can't believe that, still holding on with both hands to the pedals, pedaling around. And here we go, Alex Jumelon, man who has taken hot seat position with a blasting 90.96.
Yeah, so far, three of the four Japanese riders would be in the finals. And so we'll see if that holds. Those guys came a long way, threw down some of their best tricks. We'll see if that keeps them in the top 8. But we've got some heavy hitters in these next couple of heats. Kevin Nikolsky, Vicki Gomez, Jean-William Prevost, Matthias Dandois. Kevin absolutely killed it yesterday in the qualifying. I think he touched once at the end of his run, but it was basically a flawless run, and he just is violent on the bike.
I love watching Kevin Nikolsky ride, man. This is a very cool guy, such a humble athlete as well, coming from Berlin, Germany, all the way out here.
That's the only word I can think of, man. It's just violent. Watching him, it's all energy. Watch the way this guy moves and jumps around the bike, spinning. Yeah, and Kevin, too, just such great style, man. Such a great dude. Watch these switches on the front wheel. He's switching the bars while he's doing those spins and jumping straight back to the pedals. Good, solid first link for Kevin again. Man, I hope he rides as good as he did yesterday. If he does, he'll definitely be in that qualifying 8. Pivoting on the back wheel. Now let's see what he's setting up. No-handed.
Wow, as he just pinches between the seat or on the seat post with his calf there. That's a very hard clamp on the bike.
He does these tricks where he jumps back to the pedals. Yeah, Kevin, making it look easy. That's not fair, Kevin.
The style as he throws it back, like, yeah. You see that, everyone? You watching? It's like, I came with vengeance this time. I want to be on top of that box.
He is on a mission, man.
Doesn't just want to give the top honors to the French crowd out here.
All right, watch these switches he does. Boom,
wow.
Jumping, somehow hanging on to it.
And keeping that balance point.
That had gone wrong, and somehow he corrected it in the middle and still got back to the pedals. He doesn't even believe he pulled that trick right now. Kevin is living this dream weekend. Let's see if he can keep it up. He's got 1 minute, 20 seconds left.
Come on, you can't beat up. Come on. The time is running out.
Got to kind of calm himself down a little bit in between combos. They're going so well. Then he brings this energy, just like that.
1 minute left for you. Yes. Push. Keep the bike control.
Those pivots, man, take a lot of core, a lot of energy. Somehow got back to the pedals.
And still holding on to that one as well. Incredible technique from the German athlete out here.
I don't know if you saw it, but the back wheel even came off the ground at the end, and he just hung on. There's that bar switch flip on the entry into this combo. Now watch his feet get back to the pedals. Little nose manual. He's got this whole run again.
30 seconds left, and we've just been on edge. I have goosebumps right now.
Now, I don't think he's touched yet this entire run, has he? So far, this seems like a clean, what's called a no-touch run, a flawless run. If he can pull this out without falling, he might end up in the top spot.
10 seconds, 8 seconds,
Doing
6.
it for Germany. He's just got to pull this for it to count, and that's Kevin Nikolsky. He doesn't even care at this
That's
point.
enough. Let's call that a flawless run down to the wire. Kevin Nikolsky from Burning Germany on fire out here in Montpellier. You see there, the score to beat is a 90.96. Kevin Nikolsky, man, just gave me goosebumps in the booth.
Wow, I'm so happy for him, man. I've seen him at other contests, and sometimes it doesn't come together, but this weekend, everything is just clicking for him. All these switches on the front wheel, incredibly difficult. Then this move where he hooks his foot, like you talked about, Ryan, no-handed time machine, very difficult balance point for that. I don't know if the bars...
Yeah, the bars were spinning there as well.
He meant to do that. Watch this hop. Switching bars and
so
hopping.
Cool. Yeah,
it goes wrong right there. He's off balance, but somehow he got it back. Kevin must be so
this one
happy
as well,
right
where
now.
he grabs, I believe, under to the handlebar to come. Yeah, and then.
Yep. And he gets back to the pedal. Watch the back
the
row
rear
comes
wheel
up.
hops off the ground there, but still holds it together.
Sometimes you just got to fight and decide not to come off the bike, and that's what Kevin did, man. He just decided to have a flawless run. He owned it today, and hopefully the score reflects it. We're going to see if he takes this top spot away from Alex. Will it be enough to put him in the 90s?
Kevin Nikolsky, like we said, he's come out here with vengeance. He really wants to get his name on top of the box.
Man, I would love to see him in the finals, and I'm pretty sure we will. Now the question is just, is he going to be first or second?
I know as well, he was touring around Japan, went to Tokyo, was filming a bunch of stuff with the boys. He as well said, yeah, never made it over to Tokyo, need to do some good stuff. We're having a super fun time in Hiroshima, but as well didn't get into that podium contention. Seems like he is on fire out there this weekend. It's just the semifinals, and we've already seen such incredible riding from some of the top flatland athletes in the world. You see on the right of your screen there Alex Jumelon, who has a hot seat right now with the 90.96, over 8 points ahead of Moto Suzuki. And we're going to move and see where Kevin Nikolsky is going to end up. His scores are being delegated by the judges right now, making sure that they're not messing up in any category.
Yeah, this is worth taking your time if you're a judge to talk about, score it right, because this will matter for the order of how the riders ride in the finals tomorrow. And so whether he's first or second actually does matter, even though they both make it into the finals. So the judges are, deliberating, talking about this, talking about the originality, the difficulty, probably comparing it to Alex's run and some of the notes on him. And so, I'm actually glad they're taking their time to get this right. And having the live scoring is awesome. It's so difficult to do as a judge. So I want to pay respects to our judges for being willing to put that score down. It's very difficult to try to score people in the middle of these heats. But here it comes in, 82.73.
Wow, far lower than I had anticipated, but this is up to the judges and moving between difficulty. This is still the semifinals. An 82.73. There was a lot of delegation up there on the judges tower, but good enough for fourth place and solidifies himself a spot in the finals.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's probably happy to be going to the finals. Might not be happy with that score, but he's got to be happy with that run. But the next rider is definitely someone who could take the top spot away from Alex. This is Vicki Gomez from Spain.
For sure, the game.
Vicki lives in Luxembourg. Him and his wife just had a baby 10 days ago.
Wow.
Little Stella, a little girl.
Wow.
So he is a new father. You can imagine what that would be like.
What a welcoming gift as well.
So shout out to Stella, 10 days old. Vicky's such a great dude, such a great rider. It's been around for such a long time. So creative, so smooth. Definitely has the ability to take a podium. We're going to see what he puts together. He has the ability when he needs to put it all together and have a flawless run. And really, he needs to have a flawless run today to stay in one of those top spots. Vicki is just a master at these slow pivots on the back wheel and linking tricks together one after another. He could keep going, I think, as long as he wants to keep going, linking tricks together. Vicki, another one of our Red Bull athletes out here.
Here we go, on the front wheel.
Watch this bar spin. These little hop switches that he does are so difficult to do in your run. Those are tricks most guys save for videos. Vicki will do them in this semifinal run. Good start for Vicki.
40 seconds, 1 minute and 40 seconds left for you, Vicki.
Watch this pivot all the way back around to a wheelie. Didn't quite get it. Yep. There he is, pumping for more speed. Now, if I'm Vicki and I've watched the other riders, I know that I need to bring a little bit bigger tricks, a little bit harder tricks, just to make sure that he makes it in that top 8. There he goes, stomping back to the pedals. This is not really a good time to play it safe if you're Vicki Gomez.
Guys, we've seen such amazing riding already.
Watch this kickflip trick. Without touching the bars, flips his feet, flips the front wheel around. And then this pivot right here, cross-footed, gets back to the pedals. Good solid run from Vicki.
Okay, we're in the last.
Now some of these riders are saving some of their more difficult tricks and combos for the finals on purpose. I think Vicki's wanting to make sure that he qualifies right here, putting together some great links. He does have some harder stuff that we might see tomorrow, but you know what? This is a great run for Vicki. Only came off the bike, I think, once or twice.
10 seconds, Vicki.
10 seconds left. Let's see what he's going to end with, Ryan.
6, 5.
Wow, some nice transitions right there.
Yep. Wow. Full body burial with the bike. Back to the pedals. Look how happy he is to end it with Vicki Gomez.
Right to the buzzer, so a good run put together.
Look at that crowd.
You can see that Vicki is as well a contest veteran. He's been doing this for many years. And that is as well sometimes what you need to know, that you just take in exactly what you need for finals and you have things planned out.
Now it looks like he injured his finger. I'm going to have to ask him about that later. He had something on his ring finger that wasn't there earlier, a bandage or something. He kept messing with it during his run. I wonder if that was bothering him, but it doesn't look like it bothered him for some of these tricks. Here's some of his bar flip, full 360 bar flip steamroller. Some of these tricks are incredibly difficult to pull, and to try them in a run is insane. No-handed time machine, stomps back to the pedals. And yeah, like you said, Vicki's a very seasoned competitor. He knows mentally what he needs to do to get into the finals. I think he probably did. We'll just wait for the score and see where he landed. I don't know if he's going to take that top spot from Alex, but I think he'll be close.
Est-ce que Vicki arrivera à détrôner le patron du BMX?
You hear our MC down there on the Flatland stage, getting the crowd hyped.
And the scores will be coming in for Vicki Gomez, and it's a solid 87.2, second place behind Alex Jumelon.
Yeah, that's about what I thought. And that's a great spot for Vicki going into the finals. We'll see what he pulls out tomorrow. He does have some other banger tricks that I think he was saving, but now this guy ended up #1 2017, the FIS World Series for Flatlands, Jean-William Prévost.
Really put in so much work for this, and you saw how much emotion came out as he won that in his home country of Canada, I believe.
Yep, I was there.
Jean-William Prévost really puts so much dedication into the sport of Flatland and has one of the coolest styles and some of the fastest riding that you will see in Flatland.
Yeah, he's on another level, man. And last year was just his year. He won the Nora Cup. He won almost every major contest he went to, including the FIS entire World Series. And you're going to see why right now as he spins on this back wheel. Dub is a kind of a back wheel rider, a back wheel expert. And if he lets it come loose like that, it's bad news. Some of these guys could really fall on the bike or, you know, catch the wrong way, especially when you're going that fast and pivoting that hard. But he's created his own style. He's actually even created his own bike parts to allow him to do this. The Iggy pegs with a little ball end, allows him to pivot like that with his foot. He's got pedals, Iggy pedals, that allow him to pivot back and forth with his foot. Now watch this rolling Undertaker. If he gets it right there, that's a trick that he invented last year. It's a good start for Dub.
He's some incredible ways like that of flowing the whole entire bike with the wheel while holding the handlebar through his torso.
And he's just tall enough to make it happen.
Yeah.
Again, he's one of the other taller riders. And I hate to see this. When things start going wrong for Dub, sometimes he can let it get in his head. Let's hope that he just takes ownership of this right here.
There we go. Gets that one.
There you go. It's such a mental thing for Jean-William Prévost. But when he's at his best, really nobody can touch him. I think the crowd is getting behind him. Let's see if he can get this. He's only got a minute left, so really he needs to pull out some big combos, Ryan, if he wants to make it to the finals. And I can't imagine the finals without Dub. So let's see what he's going to pull out here. Pumping on the back wheel for speed. He needs to get into some of his bigger combos.
1 minute left on the clock. This is your second place qualifier from yesterday. Or from this morning.
Good
even.
combo, yep, around the back. This is not exactly the run that he wanted, but he's got 38 seconds left. If he pulls out something big here, this could seal his spot in the top 8. And he's got the ability to do it.
So getting a clean link in there. But is it going to be enough? 21 seconds left at this point.
The thing that will save Dub is just the pure difficulty of what he's attempting to do. So one link from Dub could beat several of the riders by itself. This pumping death truck, he can step up to the pedals from it. Looks like he's got his balance back, just decided to pull it clean. Wow. Jean-William Prévost from Canada, he says, I don't know about that one. You know, I agree. It's not his best run, but like I said, some of the difficulty of those links may put him in the finals anyway.
You see a rider very familiar out here in France, Matthias Dandois from Paris. Right now getting up on course. Let's take some replay looks at J-Dub.
Yeah, these pivots on the back peg, if you'll notice, he's got special, it's like a little end, a cap end to the peg that allows him to do that because so many of his tricks rely on that pivot on the foot. There, does a full pivot of the bike back to the pedals. He has some incredibly original moves like this where he goes around the back, all the way back to the pedals. We just have to wait and see, was it enough? Was the difficulty enough to push over even though he came off the bike a few times?
So I do believe we are taking the top 8. So right now, sitting on that bubble, it's Naoto Tomaru from Japan. I'm going to have to see and wait for Jean-William's score to come in. See where things are going to line up. Right now, you see up next, Matthias Dandois ready and warming up, but it's all about J-Dub, seeing if he has enough to make it into that final.
There he is. Oh,
the score's coming in. It's an 81. It's 7th place, so it is enough to make it into the final.
I would be happy. I'm happy for him. You know, he's still got one more rider, but that will secure his spot in the final.
Do you know where that makes it very interesting is Benjamin Hudson now is on that bubble position of 8th place. We only take 8 into the finals, and there is one top athlete who I'm almost sure is going to be in finals. Your first place qualifier, and that is sure if he's going to be in finals, if he can put it together. We just saw a crazy run from J-Dub not come out the way as planned. This can happen to the best in the world, but this is Matthias Dandois, and it is in one of his homeland countries, let's say, one of his favorite spots to compete at the FIS in Montpellier, taken under the wing of Alex Jumelin and kind of put in this Paris crew.
Yeah, this is home field advantage for Matthias. And one thing about Matthias is no matter what the pressure is, no matter what the course is like, he has the ability to do what he knows he can do anywhere, anytime.
And I love how he starts off his runs now like that. Another unique move, but something that you see is very heavily influenced from his street style of BMX riding.
Yeah, his bike is even set up more for street than for flatland. His frame is ridden by a lot of street riders in the U.S. and around the world. Haro, custom built by Matthias. Just putting in solid links, making it look like it's easy. And, you know, the thing about Matthias that's so fun to watch is he's having fun. You know, and I think it's so fun to see Flatland in person if you get a chance to go to Edmonton or one of these stops, because you get to see how much fun these guys are having, doing tricks on their bike, doing what they love to do. Matthias so good on the front wheel. This is just pure Matthias Dandois right here. He will step up on the pedal. This is called a time machine. He can pump this as fast as he wants. The crowd's getting behind him. Got a little off balance, but somehow corrected it and pulled it.
And I love how excited he gets. Like you said, he gets so excited when he stomps one, and that really pushes the energy of the crowd as well.
Now, the only thing I'm disappointed in is usually his hat flies off, but he's got some special hat on here. Looks like a chin strap.
Yeah, he has a little bucket lid with chin strap.
Now, that's a new trick for him, this little hook with the foot on the front and this pivot right here. Let's see if he can get through this whole combo. There is a certain amount of pressure on him to not just to qualify, but what spot he will qualify. Will he beat out Alex for that top spot? Jumping through the bars, cross-footed. Let's see if he pulls it out, lays it down. Oh no, a little, not what he planned, but he didn't touch the floor and still pulls it out. 50 seconds, like I said, man, Matthias is an absolute pro. All right, more of these tricks where he pivots like that on the front wheel. Here's the signature spin that he does, and watch, if he gets fast enough, he'll take his hand off, and the back wheel doesn't even touch the ground.
And then still pumps back into it, and the link is going.
Yep.
As he goes into another spin variation and stomps that one.
What a great run for Matthias Dandois. If the pressure was on him, and you could not tell from this.
Definitely not.
He looks like he's having a blast. This is a new trick called the Whoa Man, I Was Here First. Named by Terry Adams. And he pulls it clean, making it look easy. Matthias Dandois finishing out his semifinal run and saying hello to the audience, thanking them. What an incredible semifinals just went down. And he's doing a little dance because he knows that's going to get him a good score, Ryan.
You know, that's going to be an upset, because if he makes it, of course, I do believe that he is going to make it into the finals. And that means Benjamin Hudson, the young gun, is going to be out, as he was sitting in that 8th spot, and then 8th then is going to move to J-Dub. Just take a couple highlight looks at the action that happened from Matthias Dandois right there. Some beautiful combinations, and like you said, if the pressure was on, you were not able to notice it if you just tuned in for this programming. This was, of course, the UCI BMX Freestyle Flatland semi-finals. We were waiting to see who our top 8 are going to be, who make it into our finals later this week.
You know, it's such a unique friendship, too, between Matthias and Alex for that top spot. These guys have been pushing each other. They have a really close mentor-like relationship between Alex and Matthias. So 1 or 2, you know, coming in first or second, it really doesn't matter to them. They'll be happy for each other. And, of course, France will cheer really loudly because the 2 Frenchmen take probably the top 2 spots today. We're just waiting for that score to come in to kind of make it final to see if he took first place from Alex Jumelin. Watching some of the highlights from his run. congratulating some of the riders.
So we are going to have to wait and see right now. You see Alex Jumelin on the right-hand corner of the screen, and Matthias Danois is not going to do it.
Wow.
90.0, and Alex Jumelin is going to have the bragging rights for today's semi-final. So that's how you guys have it. Alex Jumelin on top of the box with the highest score, a 90.96, and Matthias Danois with that 90 even puts him into second place, which means, unfortunately, Benjamin Hudson is bumped out into 9th place, and that means 8th place, I do believe, is going to be Jean-William Primo.
Such, like you said, or like we saw there, the friendship between him and Alex is, congratulating him, congratulating each other. That means Alex will ride last tomorrow. It is unfortunate for Benjamin, who I would have loved to see in the finals. Yep. Such good style, but it just didn't come together for him today in the semifinals.
No, and that's really unfortunate, especially when you have a contest like Flatland here where you have to get your mind mentally in it, and sometimes it just doesn't work out, and you can't recompose yourself. Unfortunate for Benjamin Hudson, but a huge congratulations to our top 8 out there today. It is a jam-packed day out here at the FWS in Montpellier. Let's take a look at the rest of the day, what's happening. So you see, of course, we have skateboarding coming up at 3:50. Then rolling into the mountain bike freestyle, the slope style finals, which is happening at 6:10. If you guys did not know, we were supposed to do the qualifications or the semifinals for MTB's slope style yesterday. There was too much wind, and they ended up going to do the semifinals out there this morning. We're going to be getting ready for that one at 6. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Those are 2 really big events that you do not want to miss. Let's take a look at the standings out there for the Flatland semifinals and see how it wound up.
One of the things I was really surprised by was Jean-William Prévost. He didn't have the run that he wanted, but I'm so glad that he made it to the top 8. That means he gets another chance to really redeem, what I think was not his best run, but he has the ability definitely to take #1 spot when we go to the finals tomorrow.
So there you go. Moto Suzuki as well in there.
Tyler Gillard from the USA. Alberto Moyo. These are the people that didn't qualify.
And perfect. Anyways, thank you so much, you guys, for joining us throughout this entire show. It's been an amazing one, but that was just the semifinals. Of course, you guys saw that there's more action coming your way today. Please stay tuned. On behalf of myself, Ryan Meyer, and everyone else out here at the FWS, anything you want to say for last words?
No, thanks. Come back to tune in tomorrow for the Flatland finals, because those guys are going to go nuts, and it's going to be insane.
Okay, thanks so much, Claude, for joining me on this live stream. Take care, and we'll see you guys on the next one.